I come from a lineage of people who are survivors. Through the highs and through the lows, they always found a way to be flexible and survive. Through every season of highs and lows, they found a way to make it work for them, which oftentimes equated to working harder, doing more, being more, and removing more from their lives in order to make it fit. That's how survival works in many of our bloodlines. We were conditioned to work harder in order to survive in this world of capitalism. It's run so deep in our bloodline that if someone is resting, they were forced to get up and find something to do. I literally experienced that as a child. We weren't allowed to sit around the house doing nothing. We were expected to be productive. Whether writing a paper, cleaning a wall, pulling weeds out the garden, cleaning the house, we were never allowed to just be. We weren't conditioned to believe that rest and survival could coexist. I found myself falling into that same trap while living in the United States. Truth is, being able to afford living in the United States was becoming harder and harder. Not because I wasn't working, educated, or because I didn't understand money, but because in order to keep up with the bills, lifestyle, and everything else, it meant working harder and not resting more. There was a time in my life when I made six figures. Not once, but 2 years in a row actually. And it was amazing. It felt like all the years of school, sacrifices, and hard work were finally paying off. But what people don't always realize is that income can change, just like seasons change. Life changes too. And the things that once worked don't always continue working forever. When I was making six figures, I wasn't just running a business. I was teaching, running a business, and receiving a graduate school stipend at the same time. I essentially had multiple streams of income working together. And looking back, I can honestly say I was carrying a lot more than I probably realized at that time. The money was great, but there was also a cost that was attached to it. It was a mental cost, there was an emotional tax, and there was an energetic, inflated price. That season of my life has passed though. By the time I made the decision to become a full-time nomad, my income had dropped drastically to around $35,000 a year. And now, it's actually lower. Yeah. I know some people hear things like that and automatically assume someone must be doing something wrong. Maybe they failed. Maybe they made bad decisions. Maybe they stopped working hard enough. But sometimes life is simply more complicated than that. When I left education, I genuinely believed my business income would increase. I thought that if I was no longer spending my days teaching and pouring so much of myself into a system that was draining me, then all of that energy could be redirected into my business. And instead of my business increasingly becoming more, it started to decrease. And that was a hard pill to swallow. Because entrepreneurship is often sold as the beautiful story where you leave your job, take a leap of faith, and suddenly everything expands. That wasn't my story. My business income decreased. I stopped offering some popular services, and clientele slowed down in other areas. People oftentimes cited finances, and honestly, I understood because I was feeling the same pressures that they were feeling. The economy isn't exactly thriving right now. I don't need to spend this entire video convincing anyone of that. Most people can feel it every time they walk into a grocery store. They can feel it when they look at housing prices, insurance, healthcare, food costs, and the overall cost of simply existing. Shit. For me, the moment things really clicked was when I saw my lease renewal. The new lease amount was going to be $1,800 a month. And I remember staring at that number because it wasn't just the rent. It was the rent plus everything else. $1,800 in rent, about $200 for my energy bill, $350 car note, $200 a month for car insurance, a $900 student loan payment. Then I have to have food, gas for the car, my business expenses, my hobbies, and life. You see, I didn't even say health insurance. As someone who was self-employed, every single dollar mattered. And I remember looking at those numbers and asking myself a question. Do I really want to continue building my life around supporting these damn expenses? Do I really want to keep having to work so much that burnout was a part of the process? I witnessed my grandmother retire and come out of retirement in order to keep up with finances and a livelihood. I didn't want that. Because in order to maintain that lifestyle, I felt like I needed to either work a job that made me semi-depressed or continue offering services that were heavily dependent upon my energy, and I was losing interest in doing so. And that's something that people don't talk about enough. When you're self-employed in a service-based business, your energy oftentimes becomes the product. Your presence, your time, your creativity, and emotional bandwidth becomes the product. And there came a point where I simply didn't want every dollar I earned to require so much of me, especially after what stress had already done to my body. I've dealt with ulcers, internal bleeding. I've dealt with health issues that were directly connected to stress. And when you've had your body start waving red flags at you, you begin looking at life differently. You begin asking different questions. Instead of asking, how can I make more money? I started asking, how can I need less money? That question is what changed everything. Because if I could create a lifestyle that requires less money to maintain and allows me to do what I've always wanted to do, which was experience, see the world, then maybe I wouldn't need to constantly chase more. Because I was literally working to support all my bills and still have money to the side to be able to travel here and there. And maybe I wouldn't need to keep forcing things though, and finally be able to breathe. And that's ultimately what led me to becoming a digital nomad. Not because I wanted some glamorous travel lifestyle on the internet, but truthfully, freedom of movement and economics played a huge role in that decision. I no longer have a car note. I no longer have car insurance, utility bills attached to an apartment somewhere. And today my primary expenses are much more simpler. I have a storage unit, I have my phone bill, I have my business essentials like website hosting, insurance, coaching, and mentorship, software subscriptions, and the things that help me run my business. And those are my highest expenses, next to housing. And that looks different too. When I first started traveling, I was staying in Airbnbs that were roughly about $1,000 to $1,300 a month. And at that time, that felt like a major reduction compared to my expenses in the United States. But now my student loans have come out of deferment again, and lately I've dipped into my savings. And because of that, I'm adjusting. I'm looking at accommodations that are closer to the $700, $800 a month moving mark, moving forward. Because I'm adapting to the reality of my life instead of looking at ways to do more. I'm slowing down, reducing, and allowing things to happen how they should. Something I've learned through this journey is that adaptation isn't failure. And for some reason, people think success means reaching a form of materialistic lifestyle. I don't believe that anymore. I think success is being honest with yourself. I think success is being willing to make adjustments when life changes, It's in creating a life that supports your peace instead of constantly disrupting it. Because like I said, my business took a major hit when I stopped offering certain services. It's like part of my pay cut was because of my own doing, honestly. There were things I was doing that simply burned me out. Energetically, I couldn't continue operating that way. I couldn't continue pouring from a cup that I had to constantly fill because I was always pouring from it. And while stepping away from those services protected my well-being, it also affected my income. There's a real cost to choosing yourself sometimes. I've always had moments where I question whether I simply needed to become better at marketing. Maybe that is part of it. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe there are things I need to still learn. Or maybe a lot of people aren't interested in the gifts that I'm available to offer in this season. I've honestly considered both possibilities. And one thing that has fascinated me over the years is watching certain people prosper financially while offering far less value than others. Then the people take to the internet and blast how so and so scammed them. Meanwhile, I'm pouring my entire self into my services, my classes, and my clients, and have a hard time attracting new clients. I've had coaches suggest marketing tactics that didn't feel aligned with me. They told me to inflate things, make it look bigger than what it was, create illusions, use psychological triggers that are honestly manipulative. And as someone who is a subconscious specialist, my integrity and my morals just won't let me. And I see why they say there is no morals in millionaires. But I do feel there are some out there who are honest. They teach how to manufacture urgency by making things appear bigger than they actually are. And while I understand why those tactics work, they also help me understand why scammers seem to thrive in society. Many people are attracted to what appears shiny, what appears exclusive, impressive, and larger than life. Meanwhile, authenticity isn't always flashy. Sometimes authenticity is just someone telling the truth. And maybe that's part of the reason it's harder. That's part of the reason client attraction can feel harder than pricing. Because I've seen people charging 3 times more than me. 3 times. And people happily pay it. So I know it isn't about price. A lot of times it's about attraction, marketing, perceived value, positioning. And honestly, I don't want any part of the games anymore. I don't want to spend my life manufacturing an image, pretending. I don't want to spend my life convincing people I'm something that I'm not, or bigger than reality, or even lowering parts of myself, because I've worked too hard to find peace for that. Because the truth is, I found balance within my nervous system. And having the ability to balance my nervous system was a game changer. And I've done it more than I ever have before. And a huge part of balancing my nervous system involved removing unnecessary stressors from my life and allowing my subconscious to relate rest to productivity and to shift it to worthiness in all good things. It involved moving more in flow, releasing the need to force outcomes, embracing beauty in unsuspecting places, accepting uncertainty, and accepting that anything can happen. Instead of constantly stressing over how everything is going to work out, I've chosen to live more authentically and to follow the path of least resistance, not the lazy path or the avoiding responsibilities path, but the path that feels aligned, the path that doesn't require me to betray myself every day just to survive. My ancestors lived off less than what many of us consider necessary today. And when I really think about it, I realize how resourceful human beings actually are. I'm resourceful, you're resourceful, and we're capable of adapting and rebuilding and creating lives that look different than what we originally imagined. I don't need to spend this video preaching about the economy. Like I said, we all know it's not the best. But what I've learned while traveling is that there are people all around the world living off fractions of what many Americans spend every month. And despite having less, they still possess so much joy. They still laugh, gather, spend time together, and still appreciate simple moments. And witnessing that has really changed me because yes, money is important. I'm not pretending that it's not, because money matters. But so does peace, comfort, time, and presence. So does being able to wake up and enjoy your life and having space to breathe. So does sitting outside and watching a sunrise and sunset without thinking about your next deadline. And spending a slow morning, drinking your coffee, and having enough room in your life to actually experience it. And that's what this chapter is really about for me. Reclaiming my time, reclaiming my peace, my health, my life. Because for a long time, a huge part of my identity was being the caretaker. The responsible one, the one who carried things, the one who figured things out, the one who made things happen. And while there is beauty in being that person, there is also exhaustion. This season is teaching me that I don't have to earn rest. I don't have to earn peace. I don't have to earn my slowness. And I don't have to earn the right to enjoy my own damn life. And just maybe leaving the United States wasn't just about money, because honestly, I know it wasn't. It was about finally giving myself permission to live differently and in alignment with what came to me naturally, healthily, humbly, lovingly, and in alignment.